is only 20 days left until we get to 2020, and I can't handle that. Because just think of the last 12 months we have had here in professional wrestling. I mean, we've got a brand new company who's basically at war with WWE. In a year's time, who even knows what the deal will be? Maybe I will be WWE champion. Not going to happen. But let's not worry about the end of the year. Let's not worry about the start of the year. Let's just worry about AEW Dynamite, which did go down around about 12, 13, 14, 15 hours ago, whatever it may be, and decide whether it was a good show or whether it was a bad show. And we do that by giving the good bits an up and the bad bits a down. And it is AEW, so if I do give anything a down, everybody will be mad, but I still love you. Let's up those downs for Dynamite. Jon Moxley is a star. You know it, I know it, AEW knows it, and the crowd last night knew it because as soon as he was making his entrance to kick things off, there was just an electricity in the air, and that carried on when he beat Ryan Reynolds in around about 3.2 seconds with the paradigm shift. He also did the same to his partner, Pirate John Silver, and all of this was just great because it just was. Up. All of that only lasted for literally around about 2 minutes because that wasn't the point of this segment. The point of this segment was to get the Inner Circle to come down and finally confront Jon Moxley face to face. They didn't fight, they didn't brawl. Chris Jericho just took a microphone and said, "Look, John, you and I are very similar in the past. You have come to me for advice. So why don't you join the Inner Circle and together we can take over the world." It was like Lex Luthor and Superman. Jericho then threw an Inner Circle t-shirt at Mox and told him to think about it. You know, John had this look on his face like, well, I'm not actually going to do this, but I will keep you guessing and I'm all right with that. You can tease this into 2020 and then by the time we eventually get to that match, we'll be ready to see some asses kick. This is a good program. And we sorted the whole Butcher and the Blade thing. I mean, people were mad at me after last week, but all I needed was that MJF promo, which didn't air on Dynamite, it aired on social media. But that cleared everything up. It proved to me that I was right, and indeed the Butcher and the Blade were hired by one Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and this is why they want to kick Cody Rhodes' ass. Obviously, Cody was teaming with QT Marshall here, and once again, this was a wonderful tag team encounter. Up. The Bunny kept getting involved because of course she did, and the whole build here was can QT manage to find a way to hot tag in Cody, and he took his time, but when he did, my word, Cody is such a good babyface. There was disaster kicks, there was springboard cutters, there was everything under the sun that you would want from a good guy, and it just made you love him even more. He was on fire. The Bunny wasn't a fan of all this, so she just raked Cody's eyes, and seeing that his tag team partner was in trouble, QT tagged himself back in, and that kind of was the downfall. And I do want to shout out Marshall here. He managed to get people properly chanting his name before all was said and done. And now I kind of want to see AEW do something with him. But he wasn't so fortunate here because he got kind of, the Butcher and the Blade have this move. It's like a suplex into a backstabber. Either way, Cody and QT Marshall lost. The Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny won. Cody was distraught afterwards until, of all people, Darby Allin came out to console him. So I guess that's going to be some kind of partnership going forward. And all of this just kept getting better and better because then MJF was out here to cut a promo and it was extremely good. If you are looking for somebody to hate in pro wrestling, this is your guy. He went after Cody's lisp, he went after the fans, and he even got that familiar security guard that we've seen over the past few weeks to get in the ring and kiss his diamond ring because, doesn't like him very much. He could not have been more of an asshole, and he said that he would accept Cody Rhodes' challenge, although he does have a couple of stipulations, but he's not going to announce them here. He is going to wait until another point in the future. That was a little bit annoying. That's like when you go on Facebook and somebody writes, "Oh, I've had such a bad day, I can't believe it." And you being a nice friend reply, "Oh, babe, oh, hun, talk to me, I'm here for you." And they go, "Sorry, can't talk about it." Don't even bring it up, you attention-seeking person. Still, this feud, much like Moxley versus Jericho, rocks. And that's why I thought this episode of AEW Dynamite was so good. It was just ticking all my boxes. We then had another Dark Order video, but this time we're honing on somebody specific, namely Ryan Reynolds. Alex Reynolds, because during this he was laying on his hotel bed and the Dark Order literally said, "Man, you are just a jobber. Come join us, you'll stop losing, you'll start winning, and you'll start feeling better about yourself." This could get really good if they do go on this big recruitment angle, and it will give people lower down on the card a reason to exist. It's a bit like the Ministry of Darkness, but nowhere near as screwed up. Okay, it's time for everybody to hate me again, but I can take it. I'm made of thick stuff. I'm like an elephant. But the women's division really in AEW now needs some kind of structure and it needs some kind of stories. I know it's still early days, but they're managing to do it with the men's division. I've just talked about Jon Moxley, Chris Jericho, Cody Rhodes, MJF. Before that we had Cody Rhodes, Chris Jericho, loads of stuff going on. But all we seem to get every single week on AEW is random tag team match, random match. Random tag team match, random match. Just start giving me some narratives, man. That's all I'm asking for. So while Big Swirl versus Sakurai was very good, and I appreciated the commentators bigging up how important their ranking system is, again, there was no real reason for me to be massively invested because next week, I have no idea what I'm gonna get. And because of that, down. This also went a little bit too long, but look, if the goal here was to get the audience into Big Swirl, then I would say mission accomplished. She looked great here, and you could just see how hard Sakurai was working to ensure she did get over, and that made me feel warm and fuzzy inside. I like seeing nice people in nice professional wrestling and nice professional wrestling matches. Big S hit the Dirty Dancing for the win, which is essentially just a big forearm to the face. And yeah, I think we do have something here with Big S, but we gotta do something with her. We gotta put her on a journey to the top, and you gotta make sure I'm invested and that I pay for the damn ride. So I liked it to a point, but just give me something. Give me anything, give me a story, give me a narrative, give me an arc. Give me the darn cliff notes, I will take anything. Pac then cut a promo too, saying that he's really angry and he hates Kenny Omega and he hates AEW and he hates his family. Didn't say that one, but he hates his long hair, he hates his beard, he hates the fans. He's just full of hate, but he is gonna find Kenny Omega and he's gonna whoop him. The action kept on coming thick and fast because then we were getting Hangman Page and Kenny Omega teaming to take on Kip Sabian and Shawn Spears. Now, I'm not sure what happened to that association between Kip Sabian, Jack Evans, and Angelico Cole. Pretty sure they said that was going to happen, but whatever. I got over it quite quickly because the information in Hangman Page's lower third this week was that last week he'd just been hanging out at home getting drunk. That really made me chuckle. I like this match. It's an up. As is always the way when a bad guy in AEW has a manager, they were just getting involved to comical levels. I like how All Elite Wrestling tries to stay away from DQ finishes, because look at some other promotions, it happens way too much. But at one point here, Penelope Ford, who was in Kip Sabian's corner, was giving Kenny Omega a handstand spring elbow. And I know Shawn Spears was distracting the referee, but referees in AEW just come across as so stupid, it's like Tom and Jerry stuff. So that's 2 for 2 as well, because Penelope was also whooping Kenny Omega's ass on AEW Dark. Like the officials, they just run around like lost puppies, like, where's my bone? Where's my bone? This all balanced out, however, when the lights went off and when they came back on, Tully Blanchard had basically been kidnapped, like all taped up and wrapped up, by Joey Janela, who goaded Shawn Spears to come and fight him, which he did. They brawled to the back. So too bad for Kip Sabian. He was left all by himself. What was really cool though is that from here we did start to tease this Hangman Page heel turn, or at least it could be a red herring I suppose, but I am buying into it because after Kenny Omega had this match won, Hangman Page just tagged himself in. Omega looked proper perplexed like, what are you doing, cowboy? He hit the buckshot lariat and it was indeed he who got the 1, 2, 3. That rhymed. So the cowboy stole his I will say this felt different and fresh from everything else we'd seen to this point because there was loads of subplots, there were loads of angles, and you felt yourself being pulled in multiple directions but never being confused. The only thing I would like to see tied up is the rules. You've got to have rules and you've got to have consequences for breaking the rules. Otherwise, why have the rules to begin with? I know, wrestling nerd switch activated. That's just how I see it. But look, there's no down. This was fantastic. I'm just making a point. That is the idea of the show. Surprise, though, it is true. Thank you so much for all the well wishes I've been receiving all day, but I am officially the newest member of the Nightmare Collective. Or I mean, maybe I am, I don't know. Basically, in this vignette that aired afterwards, we did just see some bald guy sitting in a chair. I'm a bald guy, although actually even I had more hair than that dude, so who knows. Also, yeah, let's get down. I just don't get it. This was a Brandy Rhodes promo and I didn't understand one word that she said. I mean, why has she become this person? Why did she bring attention to the fact that Riho, the AEW Women's Champion, hasn't been on TV for 72 years? Why did she say without her, AEW would be like a gymnastics meet for kids? There's just so many questions. I know I ping pong around all over the place like I'm a pinball table, but I have given it a few weeks and I'm still none the wiser. I mean, I need something. And we had that person from last week who shaved her head, and she was acting like, she basically loved Brandy Rhodes. Also, Brandy Rhodes was coming in like a swimming suit. I know what any of this was. I just don't get it. It's completely lost on me. I'm kind of intrigued by it because it is so different and it is so weird, but I need something. I really do. Also, I want them to prove me wrong. I want to look back in 4 weeks' time and go, I am an idiot How did I not see how good this was? But again, I'm being honest, I'm being transparent. Say goodbye to my mentions for the next 24 hours. It was then Luchasaurus versus Sammy Guevara, and you know what that means? Dinosaur up. Ugh, it's that easy. This was fun though. Jericho and Hagar kicked Tony Schiavone and Excalibur off commentary, and they just acted like dicks throughout. And although this was a match, it was more about promoting what was going to happen next week on Dynamite, and I ain't got no problem with that, especially because Luchasaurus won after the extension. He got the easy 1, 2, 3. The Jurassic Express and the Inner Circle then brawled afterwards, and going back to what I just said, again, it was just to remind you that next week we are getting Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus Le Champion, because get this right, at one point Jungle Boy, he snuck in the ring and he rolled Chris Jericho up using the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. Sorry about that. I got a little bit carried away, but the boy from the jungle did use the most devastating move in all of wrestling, the surprise roll-up. Marco Stunt got in there. He gave it the 1, 2, 3, so he actually saw a visual pinfall, even though obviously it wasn't official, from Jungle Boy over Chris Jericho. So now, if you're a fan, you think, maybe there is a way he can beat him, and of course it would be with the most devastating move in all of wrestling. If you are an upcoming wrestler, make sure you have that in your arsenal. Also, I don't think there's any chance in hell the Jungle Boy will beat Chris, but all of this was very well done, and if you ain't excited, well, you're probably dead. We also found out when the next AEW pay-per-view is gonna be. It's February 29th, which is my birthday. It's not true. I've absolutely made that up. Don't know why I did it. But it's going down in Chicago, kind of like all AEW pay-per-views, and it's called Revolution, so set your calendars to excited. You can't set a calendar to excited, even if it's a digital one on your computer. They don't have let's just move on. And I can only assume that when we got to our main event, which was the Young Bucks taking on Proud and Powerful in a Texas street fight, that we said beforehand, should we just try and kill each other? Do you fancy trying to kill each other? And the other team went, yeah, I kind of think we should kill each other today. This was absolutely bonkers. But it was doubly incredible because as Matt Jackson revealed on Twitter after the fact, Nick Jackson had been lying on the floor all day, suffering with flu, but I would never have known. So man, he gets a salute. What a damn trooper. It was the start of this that actually was the best though, because it was hilarious. Santana and Ortiz jumped the Young Bucks as they were making their entrance, and Brandon Cutler ran out to try and make the save. And do you know what happened to Brandon Cutler? He got thrown through a table. I mean, what a preposterous save that was. That is if you're like a fire person and you run down to a local fire and you turn on your hose, but instead you just spray it all in your face. You didn't help anything. It was nuts from here as well as the two teams really laid into each other. And I swear we must have seen 72,466 table bumps. I mean, surely, if professional wrestling ceased to be tomorrow, the table industry would go out of business. If you think, Simon's exaggerating, there were so many table spots. At one point too, Nick Jackson hit a 450 onto a trash can, and thankfully under that trash can was Ortiz, and that would have been the finish, but Jake Hager was back out here, and he pulled out the referee, and I don't mind that one. It's a Texas street fight, there ain't no rules. And there was even more table explosions before Nick balanced things out once more, because after the street sweeper from the Proud and the Powerful, he then pulled the referee out. So it was like, just a referee tamale, once again, dogs. Where's my bone? Santana then got thrown through another table, which was absolutely ludicrous, and by the time Ortiz got super kicked in the face as he was holding a chair, you just knew where this was gonna go. We then saw a Meltzer driver onto a chair, we got the 1, 2, 3, and not only did the Young Bucks win a very good match, but they became the #1 contenders for those tag team titles. And next week on Dynamite, we are gonna see the Young Bucks taking on Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, and the latter in the ring. They were holding their titles in the Young Bucks' face like, you want some of this? Well, you're gonna get some of this. Why do wrestlers do that? I don't get it. You hold up the title. I can see the title. Also, I know you're the champ. It's really weird. This is really one of the best things about AEW's lighter schedule, though, is that you can have these kind of blow-off matches on TV and then build to pay-per-view like matches the following week. Even though we don't have a pay-per-view, it just makes me very excited. Interestingly, some people on social media have said that they thought this was the worst Dynamite yet. I disagree. I thought it was well-paced, and I thought it was incredibly diverse, even the Brandy Rhodes stuff. I appreciate you do something different, it's just not for me. So there's my spinning arrow. It's getting it up. I feel pretty good on this Wednesday. Even though it's Thursday, I meant the shows were on Wednesday. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's AEW Dynamite. Calm down if you don't agree. I'm just a bald asshole. It don't mean nothing. Like, share, and subscribe. Then head over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter, WhatCulture WWE. Watch more videos here. on the WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon from WhatCulture, and remember to tune in Saturday when I up those downs for Smackadown. Maybe we'll have something to do with Roman Reigns and a dog you can bet your ass.